This is California Edition. I am Brad Pomerance, and we are joined by John Ashbaugh. He is a council member in the beautiful city of San Luis Obispo, which we know attracts tourists left, right, and center. And many of the tourists in the 21st century, they're not necessarily interested in staying in hotels.
That's right.
It's kind of a big move where you've heard of the company Airbnb. It's not a commercial, but where you'll rent a home or a room from someone for a week or whatever it may be. But a lot of cities didn't have regulations on this question of these type of homestays.
Caught us by surprise. And a lot of cities like San Francisco, New York, Paris, they've really been hammered by what we call vacation rentals, where housing within residential neighborhoods is basically being turned into bed and breakfast neighborhoods by people who are basically posting their homes on Airbnb or VRBO or something, and attracting people to stay there instead of hotels. And in a lot of cases, in the big cities, this is the bigger problem, and in San Luis Obispo too, people aren't even there. They don't live there. They're absentee investors, and they've bought into the housing there. So the actual working class, basic neighborhood character is deteriorating. And that's a real problem, especially in San Francisco, where prices are so high. Well, guess what? We have the same problem here in San Luis Obispo.
Right, we know housing is high in San Luis Obispo. It's considered very desirable. And as a vacation location, it's also seen as one that you want to visit. You know, you have Paso Robles with its wine. Up north, you have the beaches, the Pismo Beach Outlet Mall. I mean, you got
bicycles and walking paths, open
and so
space.
Cal Poly.
Oh yeah, a lot of people come to visit their son or daughter at Cal Poly, or there's some other visiting professors.
So you worked with your colleagues on the San Luis Obispo City Council to pass what I understand may be the first ordinance in the nation addressing homestays.
Once again, San Luis Obispo is kind of plowing new ground.
Right.
Which,
who would have thunk?
Yeah, it's actually familiar ground to us to be out in front, and I expect we'll get a lot of cities now who are interested in finding out what we've done. We're distinguishing between a vacation rental, which is a unit that's owned by somebody who may live in Carmel or New York or Wyoming or whatever, from those that are owned by people who live in our city. If you live here and you are an owner-occupant of your home, then we're calling it a homestay, and we're regulating it as such. It's still a short-term rental. It's still a business. You have to get a business license. That's about $72 a year, actually. It's an annual license. And you pay a one-time fee called a homestay permit. We'll have this in place within a few weeks now. And then you'll be required also to pay transient occupancy tax, just like every hotel. 8% transient occupancy tax. And it's not a huge source of revenue. We've actually had a few dozen of these homes that have been operating this way for most of the last year under what we call a suspension of our ordinance, because we actually have in place a ban on vacation rentals, which used to be defined as any time you rented any place in your home, whether you live there or not, for less than 30 days.
Now, under your ordinance, can the San Luis Obispo resident fail to be occupying the home while someone else is there and still have this ordinance apply?
Oh yeah, they can go do errands and
so they don't have to be sleeping at the home.
Well, no.
At the same time as the visitor.
We had one situation where a longtime operator of one of these homestays told us, occasionally she likes to spend the night at her boyfriend's house, and we did have as a proposal that we required the owner to be on site between 11 and 6, and a lot of complaints came in. Even Cinderella got until midnight.
I hear you.
People were calling it a curfew or a bed check.
Now it's okay.
We eliminated that. We didn't go that way. We said you have to be within a 15-minute drive of the home, or a responsible party has to be within a 15-minute drive. But you have to live in the home. You have to own it and occupy it.
His name is John Ashbaugh. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's California.